the other boxer that had to not retire, but he took some time off?
Boxer that took time off. Oh, Canelo Alvarez.
No, the heavyweight guy.
Oh, Tyson Fury.
Tyson
Fury.
Fury.
He won his fight coming back as well. So I mean, it was a tune-up fight for him. The guy wasn't nothing of caliber, but he's got to get back in game shape.
Well, he's saying how he's ready. He's feeling better, stronger, faster than ever.
Well, he's feeling better. It's just they got to have a couple of these tune-up fights for him because the guys in the heavyweight division right now are at a very high level. I mean, he was there before he left, but you got to get in that rhythm. Mitch, boxing's a lot of timing. Timing is huge in boxing.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can be in great shape and everything, but if your timing is lacking, it could be disastrous.
Really?
Yeah. And I know, because I'm a self-proclaimed tough guy.
Self-proclaimed.
Yell from behind people. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Step your game up.
Podcast. That's a nice way to start.
We come in and he just gives us a new.
They always something new kind of thing. Right?
They're always working. When they're not working,
step your game up.
When they're not working, then no, you guys stepped your game up.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it. Podcast 36 today. If you're hearing it in our voice, it's a little somber, a little heavy-hearted today, you guys. We're doing podcast regular day. We're doing it on the Tuesday, but we're doing with heavy hearts today. Dimitri and I are here right before we head off to a buddy of ours. And for the RLRT crew, the roster as we call you guys, a great friend, a gentleman that we love and that has been a part of it from day one. We call him Jimmy Tsak. He unfortunately passed really quickly last week, and we're heading off to his prayers today and funeral tomorrow. But we felt that it was essential to do the podcast today because he was such a huge listener and he was a follower, and he was literally, and I say this no jokes, the first person to always write something on the discussion board. First person to do something on a discussion board, get people riled up. It was his nature. He was one of the most fun and cool guys that I've had the pleasure of meeting and being a part of. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for a very long time. And it's with big hearts today that this podcast is dedicated to him. We will be talking a lot about the teams that he loved and respected so much. Not always our favorite teams. However, today we're gonna do this for you, Jimmy. We love you.
That's right. And we felt we felt compelled to want to do this. Jimmy, for myself, he was one of my best friends. Mitch, we got you well know we got a crew of called 6-7 guys. We've literally known each other since near birth, growing up in the community, and this was very sudden. A lot of you roster, just like Mitch alluded to. I mean, Jimmy was Jimmy. He was the first one to respond and had the best responses, and it was amazing. And although we are dedicating this episode 36 to Jimmy and his memory, and like you said, talking about all the things that he loved, that being sports, I know that the memory of Jimmy in the locker room is never going to go away, because when you mention sports, when you mention real locker room talk, his name just goes synonymous with it. And we're really proud to do this. So episode 36, this is our tribute to Jimmy. I could go on and on. There's a lot of words to be said. It's a really tough time for us all, but we're going to dedicate this to sports he loved. And we're going to have a good time with it.
Exactly.
We're going to have a great time with it,
the
Mitch.
one thing I just want to say right off the bat, just so I don't miss it, I'm going to miss your posts. I have to admit, I've gone back the last couple of weeks because you, my friend, were a very blunt individual. There was times I was like, man, do we block this guy?
I think we all did that.
We all, I think, had that moment where we're like, damn, this guy is ruthless sometimes.
It's just funny.
I can honestly tell you, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss looking for what you have to write and all that stuff. So I'm hoping that from above you're doing that stuff, and you're hassling us and yelling at us from above and doing all that. And you know what you brought up, I wanted to just bring up a couple of small things that he did that no one else has done.
Nobody else. We're talking.
You told me this one earlier, and I was laughing.
Jimmy is one of a kind. Everyone knows that, and Jimmy's the only guy that I know in my personal circle and or extended or even ever heard of to successfully have Darren Detition from TSN call him a malaka via tweet. And he was so proud of it too. I remember he took a screenshot and he just messages. He was like, Zons, he's like, I totally got Dutch to send me a tweet named calling me a malaka.
That's amazing.
So this guy, I mean, we're talking, he's a reigning, defending Quarterly Cup champion, Mitch.
Infamy. He's always going to be on that. Trophy
absolutely. I mean, Jimmy was full of sports knowledge, one-liners. Would you agree with this?
Yeah.
He was the greatest social media personality any of us knew.
Absolutely. This guy was waiting to jump on anything. He was always willing to give his 2 cents. And if you did rebuttal against him, if you had the fortitude to go up against him, and let's say you beat him, he had one-liners for you.
Or one words.
Or
just
they were
one
fairly
words.
vulgar, but he got his point across.
We were debating, do we use the words or not? We elected not.
Yeah,
but those that are listening, they get it.
You know which words they are. I mean, so today, Jimmy, this one's for you, buddy. And so the show itinerary today, it's we're going to talk baseball. We are going to we won't make fun of it today. We'll talk a little bit about your Yankees.
And that you just said it, Jimmy was a New York Yankees fan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk hockey. Obviously, we got the playoffs or the Stanley Cup that ended.
Exactly.
And for everyone that knows, Jimmy's favorite team was the Chicago Blackhawks.
Exactly.
And obviously it was great, good successes that they had.
And I think his team won. I think he was cheering for Washington.
He was cheering for the Capitals. Jimmy was wanting Ovechkin to win the Stanley Cup, and Jimmy definitely got his wish. So really happy for that.
One of his other favorite sports is soccer. He's a big Man U fan, from what I understand.
Big Man U.
But what's bigger than Man U? Well, World Cup, and that starts in 2 days.
And it was amazing because Jimmy and I would watch soccer together always. I mean, when it came to the big games, World Cup, Euro Cup, I mean, I remember in 2002, the World Cup, Jimmy and I literally saw every single game. We didn't miss one, and we watched it together because at that time, it was in Korea and Japan, and the games were starting at, if there were 4 games, it was at 12:30 at night, and then they'd roll through to the morning. So we both were in the restaurant industry, so we didn't have to go to work till 4 in the afternoon, 5. Mitch, we watched every game. I'll never forget that. So, and we cheered for Italy. If Greece wasn't in, we were big Italy guys.
Yeah, he is a Italy. That's right. I remember that.
We used to go gung ho.
And then you know what? We're going to talk a little bit towards the end about America's team. Actually, no, it's not. It's Jimmy's team.
Yeah, we're changing it.
We're going to change it.
It is Jimmy's team.
Normally, NFL doesn't have a lot to talk about, but we'll bring up Dallas a little bit today just to get it going on. And then we're going to end it with MAGA or Malaka, but Jimmy style.
Absolutely.
We decided that, Jimmy, you deserve your own thing. So again,
now, Jimmy, we know you would have different words for these people.
Yeah.
We reiterate, but hey. Yeah, we got to keep it clean.
Yeah, we got to. You want us to continue, I'd like to think, right? So we don't want to use your words. But again, if you know, Jimmy, you know what words we decided not to use. So.
People listening, they're saying it right now. Yeah, we can even hear you. But before we get into all that,
sure.
Mitch, I mean, we can do every show that, over the moon that we can do, but not until we do and Jeff, cue the music. Because right now we do got to bring to you the Macromind Media Metrics of the Week. Macromind Media Metrics. Macromindmedia.com. Check out the portfolio. They did our website, taking Real Locker Room Talk to new heights. Macromindmedia.com, reallockerroomtalk.com. Check these guys out. They'll do everything for you. And guess what? Increase your metrics. That's just what they do, Mitch.
They're fantastic.
Well, do you think that we'd put any other accompaniment to the metrics of the week? No, Macromind.
No,
because they increase metrics.
That's all they do.
You know who else increases metrics?
No, who?
Agape Greek Radio.
Yes, they have done.
AGAPE, GreekRadio.com. You can hear Real Locker Room Talk Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time on the weekends as well. And also, if you go to agapegreekradio.com, you'll see the schedule and you will see the website. It's actually going through a big overhaul, and we're really proud to announce that come September, you're going to see Mitch's beautiful, beautiful face and my mediocre at best hair, and it's
yourself
going to be a
glossing.
great thing.
Talking
Did you
about
see
your
what
hair
I
again.
did?
Yeah, I saw
I
what
haven't
you did
downplayed
there.
it. I'm just downplaying.
You're like, well, I threw him a compliment. God forbid I don't compliment myself.
well, I
And,
wanted to compliment me first.
Well, no,
It hurts me
I
even
could
to
hear
start.
that. I know you held back, and it was like the hardest thing for you to do.
Realistically, am I that bad?
Oh,
Like,
horrible.
How
Yeah.
obvious? Like, I know I do it, but
No, it's
on
bad.
your side, how
It's
obvious is it?
very obvious.
Are people talking?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Talking, it's like written in stone. We already know.
I'm
glad you're noticing it now, actually.
It took me about 35 years, but I realized I really like talking about myself.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear stories of other people.
You literally just figured that out now?
A couple years ago.
Be honest, did somebody tell you? Did somebody allude to it, or did you just?
You know what? Maybe or maybe not. Just, let's let it go. Okay, it doesn't matter.
You know what?
But I think I hear someone telling a story, and I'm like, well, I got a story about that.
Yeah.
I become that guy.
Oh yeah, you're that guy.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm glad you noticed, but you know what? The first sign to changing it is to recognize it. So good for you.
If I don't speak it, it's not a reality, Mitch.
Yeah, good for you. I'm proud of you. This is a big moment right now. This is huge.
So let me tell you about my day.
Sure. Oh yeah. See how easy. You know, I let you do that. You know what I mean? I gotta stop it.
You're an enabler.
I'm an enabler. That was the word.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get started. We have breaking news here because I was going to start with NHL. You told me to shut my mouth, and you want to say something else.
I wanted to self-gloss about myself. But
course,
no, we got to bring big news that's happening in the fighting world.
Yeah, what?
And that is that right now, in principle, Deontay Wilder, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, has agreed in a 2-fight deal to fight the United Kingdom's finest, Anthony Joshua.
Really?
Now, Anthony Joshua holds
huge.
the other belt. So we're talking, we've alluded it to past previous shows. This is an Ali Frazier type of ordeal in the heavyweight division.
Absolutely.
Now, people are going to say, "Oh, Dimitri, come on, Ali Frazier was way bigger." Sure, but there were different things going on in that era and that time. The magnitude of these two fighters. You have an American champion who's got 1 belt. You have the British champion who has the other 3 belts. In a unification bout, these people have only gone through 1 fight where they have not knocked out their opponent.
Right.
Okay, Deontay Wilder, 40 wins, 0 losses, 39 knockouts.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua, 23 wins, 22 knockouts, 0 losses. Finally on a collision course. It's going to be huge. From what I understand, the first fight's going to be in Wembley Stadium in the United Kingdom, and of course they'll come back probably to Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
But they'll draw 90, 100,000 people. This is the biggest fight. I would not be surprised that this comes close to the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather numbers.
I'm gonna say I'll disagree slightly with you. I think this might be bigger in a weird way than not the Pacquiao one. Then I'll go back to Muhammad Ali and Frazier, and I'll tell you why. Boxing has taken a huge backseat since then. For them to get back to the spotlight, they need this. This is huge. So I'll disagree with you with this is huge. The Pacquiao Mayweather thing is one thing, but let's call it what it is. It's been the heavyweights that have always carried the boxing realm, and when you get these two juggernauts going at it, this is huge for boxing.
Well, the stars are aligning for this fight, but you said it right. The heavyweights knock people out. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's just physics. They have bigger muscles, they have a harder punch, and the chins are chins sometimes. So,
if you had to pick one right now, one shot. Don't give me the analysis. One guy, Joshua Wilder, go.
Joshua.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah.
God,
why can't I give
clean?
a-
He's more clean. He's
But-
more refined. But when are they? Do they have a date? Any dates?
Well, no, they haven't set a date, but I will speculate that November would be a targeted date.
Targeted date?
Yeah, it's usually when Klitschko is fighting, so I would say maybe they're going to take that over.
Well, that is big news, and I'm glad you started with that. That is fantastic. Congratulations, boxing. You're almost there. You almost made it back, right? So big.
Absolutely.
This is big.
And to share a great boxing story, at my engagement party, Jimmy successfully did a 1-2 punch on a friend of ours.
You did?
Yeah, he did.
At your engagement party?
At mine. That's
Was I
right.
there?
Were we podcasting?
I don't
back
think
then?
we were friends then.
I don't know if we were friends. I don't know.
I mean, I love that. You know what? I obviously missed it because I would remember a punch.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
It was good?
Excellent form. Excellent form. And then the best part on top of that is my best man Louis made the guy, so it was Evan, he got punched, made Evan drive Jimmy home.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That is.
And Jimmy gets in, he's like, are we going?
Damn you, you're the only one that can
just
do
a
that
one,
stuff.
a 1-2. It was
He's
amazing.
done a 1-2 to my heart, that guy. He's 1-2 to my heart. Well, you talked about championships, and the championship of the NHL was crowned last week, or a couple days ago, I guess. I don't know. Do you know who won? Did you see who won? Did you see that the Capitals won? Because social media hasn't talked about it at all, basically. No, I haven't seen Ovechkin carry the... Like, does he even know what the...
I don't know. Are they even celebrating?
Are they barely celebrating? Like, they don't... It doesn't look like they like to have fun.
That's
it doesn't look like they like to drink beer in any way.
For a team that worked that hard, they just don't care.
They have been wasted. That entire Washington Capitals team has been wasted since Thursday.
Now, they've won 2 trophies.
Unbelievable.
They not only won the Stanley Cup, but they won the respect, I think, of every single sport that's saying that's how you party.
That is, you know what? I want Ovechkin to win. If this is what Ovechkin was waiting for, no wonder, man. You know who the most disappointed guy is going to be come like October when they start the season? Is Ovechkin when he has to give the cup back.
Yeah.
Like he's going to lose his mind. He needs it back right away.
He might not give it back.
He may not.
He might just seek asylum in Russia.
Exactly. Unbelievable. Like, congratulations to the Washington Capitals. They end up winning their first Stanley Cup last week and in fine form. They were down heading into the third period. They come back, they tie it, and then they take the lead and obviously end up winning their first Stanley Cup in fine fashion in the city that everyone thought was going to win in Vegas. Did you watch the game? What'd you think?
I did. I watched the game. I thought it was, a good couple periods. I really thought when Vegas took the lead there that I knew it'd be close. I thought maybe they'd edge it out. But, the Washington Capitals have been, and no pun intended, capitalizing on every opportunity. And that happens in sports. That is the difference maker. Yeah. I said, games 2 and 3 that Washington won, I felt that had Vegas really scored those open net gimme goals on a regular day, we'd have a different series, but they couldn't do that. And boy, were we wrong. I thought this would go the other way. Like we said, Vegas in 6, call it the speed, everything that was riding. But the Washington, when you see Ovechkin by game 3, the way this guy was playing, I thought that maybe he would be too nervous, that maybe he'd bring all these nerves to the team, but it did the exact opposite. You couldn't stop him, Mitch.
You couldn't. I mean, and that's why he won the Conn Smythe, right? A little piece of me thought maybe Holtby deserved it, but that was probably only the last 4 or 5 games where he really stood on his head and changed the outcome of everything. But Ovi deserved it. Ovi was, you know what? He really was the captain. A lot of guys wear the C because they're good in the dressing room, whatever. Ovi did everything. Yeah. He even, what I really liked, and I'm a sucker for it sometimes, is the little traditions that hockey players do. And he skates over that red line you're not supposed to during the warm up, slaps Fleury's path. Fleury freaks out, comes after him and hits him. But that's exactly what he's supposed to do. That's what your captain or the guy that's supposed to motivate his teammates supposed to do. He gets them riled up, he gets them excited, and then what does he do? He says, "Follow me, get on my back. I'm going to score a goal," and then he expects everyone to follow suit, and he did. Washington won clearly. I was the first one before you probably to say Vegas has got this. I can't go against them anymore. Man, did they I did not expect a 5-game series. I thought they were going to wipe. I thought it was going to be 7 for sure.
Yep. That's what I thought as well, Mitch. And, we saw Ovechkin play a little different too.
Yeah.
I think the last 3-4 seasons, he's started to slowly understand that when, him and Crosby came into the league and it was a head-to-head competition, and it was more so how many points is one person going to get.
Right.
Well, then all of a sudden Crosby pulls ahead with the Stanley Cup and gets another one, and now there was just no talk anymore. It was almost like they were reaching for this rivalry. I'm glad he's got a cup under his belt. He's deservingly so. But I think he's starting to realize that if you want to captain a team and make a significant difference in that role, you have to alter the way you play a little bit. And just being an offensive scoring machine isn't everything. We were watching him blocking shots.
Yeah.
We were watching him sacrificing himself for the first time in a while out of the play to allow the other teammates to do their to fill in for him, and they did a fantastic job. And the partying is, I mean, doing a keg stand out of the Stanley
Unreal,
Cup,
man. And then swimming in the
Crosby
fountain.
didn't do that.
No, he did not do that.
Crosby did not do that. Swimming in that to me, it was the best.
That's when you know, like, everyone's on your side. Like, normally security guards would run him, like, don't do it. You're gonna, like, you're encouraging the other crazies to do it. And he's doing it. And then what about, did you see that first pitch he threw at the Washington Nationals game? Whips it right over the guy's head. And did you see that Bryce Harper, he's a local Vegas guy, huge Vegas night fan, actually. He wouldn't take the first pitch. He sent out some other guy because he's like the headliner on the Nationals. He wouldn't take the first pitch. He goes, sorry, I'm a huge Vegas fan. I won't do it.
You know what? I got to respect it.
Yeah, you got to
stand your ground.
You got to stand your ground. Exactly.
Don't be a bandwagon. I don't care if Ovechkin's there or not.
Yeah, exactly.
It was unbelievable, Mitch. This is how you need to party, and I'm pretty sure the only other people are the baseball.
Yeah.
You know what? Baseball, they're champagning
sure.
in the first round, but are other sports so jealous the way that hockey players get away with
I
this?
think we're gonna, because
you can't drink out of the NBA trophy.
No, you can't. And it's funny, going into the NBA, let's jump over to that side now. So Golden State wins, but I have to, now that you're kind of bringing it up, that was probably the most boring finals of all time.
I didn't watch game 3 and 4. Do you believe it?
No, I do, because you owe me money and something else. But that's besides the point. And I do collect. I've owed so much money to my bookie, and I just need it for my own pride. I need to collect.
Do you want me
do you
want me to put the $100? Do you want me to rub it out now while you're doing the segment?
Only because we're busy tonight. Another night, maybe.
Sick son of a gun.
Listen, man, I just need it for my pride. This isn't a thing. This is business. Don't mix the
Jimmy
two.
would love it right now.
He would love it, because I'm telling you right now, and he knows I need to collect. This is only for me to get my pride back up, my confidence back up. I have to. You have to respect and understand what I'm up against here, okay?
Boys, close your eyes.
But,
Jeff didn't promise you this.
Yeah, exactly. This is so watching that Golden State game. I watched the last 2 games where you didn't, and
I didn't bother.
Cleveland gave up. Your GOAT, your master, the guy that you love more than
Mitch. Come
give
on,
up,
man.
buddy.
Give
the
up.
guy might as well just stayed home. Like, literally, the games were in Cleveland. He just should have not came. He's like, oh, I'm not feeling well. I got the stomach flu. I can't come in.
That's not what happened.
Oh, my hand hurts. Oh, I punched the wall because blah blah blah. I like how he has excuses now. I
These
like
are
how
facts.
Listen. You know what a fact is? That he gave up. That's a fact.
He did not give up.
That's a
Mitch,
fact.
he didn't give up.
You know what else is a fact? 3 and 6 in the finals. That's also a fact, since you're going to use facts.
That is a fact.
That is a fact.
Yeah, that is a fact. But he didn't give up.
You know what else is a fact? 3 out of the last 4 NBA finals have been won by Golden State. Is this the new New England is this the new dynasty of sports?
You know what? You know why I didn't watch game 3 and 4? It had nothing to do with because I was cheering for the Cavaliers. I like to see LeBron win. It had nothing to do with that. It was not exciting basketball.
Well,
It's just it was not exciting at all.
When you're getting destroyed, no, of course it's not.
And I had no desire. I just watched the highlights, and that's about it. I had no desire to sit and watch a game because the team is just way too good. And you know what? I wish the Raptors made the final. The Raptors would have fared better because LeBron James can't do everything himself for the entire playoffs and win against a team like Golden State. We all knew that.
Right.
We all knew that.
Well,
and you know what? Jordan would never take this team to the final. Okay? Kobe would never take this team to the final. Ever. None of these guys.
he
did.
You're just
He did.
That's what you're gonna like fall on your sword on that final topic. Bottom line is this: LeBron had amazing playoffs. Probably one of the best performances of all time. I'll give you that.
So best of all time. Got it.
No. I said performances.
I heard best of all time.
Performances. But you know what he has proven to me? That when it comes to the finals, boy, does he run away. And boy, will he find a reason to why they can't win. You know what's funny?
It's
Had
so
they won,
easy to criticize
if they
him.
had won, I guarantee you he's still wearing his cast and it's covered in gold going, even with a broken hand, I ended up
does
winning.
not complain
Yes, he
like
would have.
that.
Yes, he would have.
No, he
He
wouldn't
didn't
have.
need to listen, man. Did he carry his entire team for the whole playoffs? Yes, he did. Absolutely, all day long.
If
However,
his teammates and bench
don't give
10
up.
more points,
Don't give up.
just contributed 10 more points.
Well,
Mitch.
you know what? He's taken him this far. So what did he stop all of a sudden for? What did he stop for? Because
He didn't stop. He
did
kept
stop.
trying.
He did stop. He
Oh,
did.
Mitch, come on.
You could see it in his body language,
on,
Dimitri.
man.
You could see it in his body language. He had given up after game 2. He gave up. Game 1, I agree. They killed him. Game 1, that
Game
fiasco
2,
of
they
him.
killed him.
Game 1, he was
Mitch,
heartbroken. He knew it was over after game
Mitch,
1. He
even
knew.
in game 3, they're coming out of the third quarter with only a point difference, okay?
Yeah.
So why is it that the Golden State Warriors can turn around and, no help? You go on a 23 run? No help?
Hey, dude, listen, at the end of the day, he gave up, and so the rest of the team gave up.
Look,
like I said about Ovi, when Ovi stepped up his game, the rest of the team stepped up his game. When LeBron stepped up his game, granted he didn't have a lot of help in the first 3 games, but where was he in the last 2 games especially?
Oh, man.
He was nowhere to be found. He was sitting in the corner. He wanted, which team am I going to go to?
It's
all
easy.
It
It's
is
so easy.
But
to
he makes
just
it easy.
Come down on LeBron James.
No.
When this guy has done more than anybody else. Anybody else.
I agree. I told you, he had a great playoffs. Good
Can
for
someone
him.
cut his mic? Can we?
Now let me ask you
Could
this:
just cut
Golden
your
State,
mic.
3
Yeah.
out of 4. Are they for real? And I heard reports today they're going after Anthony Davis. I kid you not. They have room, buddy. Believe it or not, they actually have room to get LeBron if they wanted.
Look, Golden State is for real. There's
Yeah.
no question about it. They have some excellent players, and they're very well coached, but they got the right kind of players. You know, as much as you know, actually, let me bring it back this way. I like seeing teams win like this. I actually like the accomplishment of Golden State.
Yeah.
You know, to see really good teams just get there and give her is absolutely fantastic. The other teams know what they're up against. This isn't the first time they won. This is a team that's been around for 4 or 5 years like this.
Yeah.
And you gotta, I think they've shown a little bit of the evolution of the sport. What I'm gonna say is this is what affirms why the NHL is a better league than the NBA, and the salary cap is the greatest thing, in my opinion, to happen to sports. And what I think they need to do is I think that they need to find, I'm not saying go down to the NHL, only 70 million a team. What I'm saying is come up with that happy medium to allow, because Golden State would still stay intact. I mean, maybe outside of, maybe they wouldn't have re-signed Durant, but I want to see a little more parity, because the NBA is unfortunately turning out to be the top 2-3 teams. That's it now, because the only way to compete with a team like Golden State is to have another team that has 3 massive stars on it.
But there's enough talent in the NBA where that can be, in my opinion, every team can be pretty stacked. It's chemistry. It really just comes down to chemistry. And you said it earlier, they're very well coached. Steve Kerr, the way he's going to be the new Phil Jackson. Really, at the end of the day.
Hey.
And if Anthony Davis ends up actually going there,
Oh, my
man,
goodness,
watch
man.
out, because this isn't over. This is not over.
Well, no one's selfish on that team either.
Exactly.
And what's great is that we're one, because everyone has off days. I mean, Steph Curry, the first couple games of the series, he had off days, but
did.
others were there to pick
Exactly.
it up. That's my whole point. You know, we give LeBron James flack when he took his talents to South Beach.
Right.
But that's a team you need to win.
Does LeBron go? Where's he going?
You know what? He is going to leave.
Yeah.
There's no question about
Absolutely.
it. The only situation that he doesn't leave is if Cleveland decides to bring in 3
Cleveland, you mean
superstars.
he decides to go.
He. You know what? I actually think Oklahoma City might be a good place for him to go. Well, look, Mitch, I got to get inside of it. He does not want to go to a place where he's got to do all this workload again. He's aging, and now he's disgusted by it. So what if he goes to a Houston?
Mm-hmm.
What if he goes to an Oklahoma City? What if he goes to, we said it, Toronto Raptors?
Yeah.
He's got to go to, I know people are saying the Lakers, but why does he want to go through that?
Yeah, you know what's funny? A couple of podcasts, maybe 3 podcasts ago, we joked around and said the best place for him to maybe go for international status would be to Toronto.
Toronto.
If he goes to Toronto between him, Lowry, and DeRozan would be unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
He'll end up going to LA. He's building a massive house out there right now, from what I understand. he's going there because you know what? He's not done. I think the guy's got literally, and he's in phenomenal shape. He's probably got another 5-6 years if he really wants to. He'll go to LA because he wants to be. He wants to. That's a market that he wants to bring back as well. He got Cleveland kind of back on the map. Now it's going to fall off the map again. But he'll bring LA back into the fold. I think he's going to go to LA.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's.
Okay, so if I had to pick, so you got LA.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Maybe I agree with you because at that point in your career, you got to start thinking about lifestyle and what you want outside of the game. And
at 33 that he is, you got to think about the future.
When you're making 50 schmil a year.
Yeah. He's going max contract, 250 schmil.
Easily.
Not bad.
Easily.
Pretty good.
But you know what? I could see him Oklahoma City. I don't know why. Him and Westbrook?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I don't think there's enough ball between the two of them. They literally would be stealing the ball off each other.
See, part of me...
he'd be blocking them.
Part of me says this, that he goes to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And that would be the ultimate revenge against Durant
Ooh,
and the Golden State Warriors.
Maybe.
Because you know what? I'm just going to go and do what you couldn't do.
Right.
So let me show you why you're so insignificant in comparison to me.
That'd be. I think you're overthinking it. I think you're really overthinking it.
But if I'm right.
But if you're right, I swear to you, I'll give you back your $100 bill
and the handy.
And the handy.
Done. Speaking of done, are you almost finished? My arm's getting sore.
No, not yet. All right, from one championship.
Feel so good inside.
Oh, Jimmy, I miss you so much, buddy. All right.
You know what it does.
Yeah, it's literally from one championship, we go to the World Championship. It starts this Thursday. World Cup. 4 years in the making. We have to go all the way to Russia to watch this. So, Dimitri and I...
Why are you rushing to get there?
Oh, God. Just so bad. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the divisions, the groups. Okay, they have A to H groups. 4 teams in each one, and me and Dimitri are going to just basically pick the top 2 that are going to lead their division and move on.
We got to do this because Mitch and I have entered into a soccer pool, a World Cup pool from @DJan.
That's right.
Our friend Dejan, I know you're listening.
Thank you.
And his brother Milan, shout out there too.
Boom,
right?
boom.
Boom. And we're in a soccer pool. And the first round, we got to come up with the top 2 in each group. Now, last week when we had the absolutely hilarious Chris LaBelle.
Yeah, thanks again.
We picked, what an amazing episode that was. We picked the teams based on
just everyday living,
everyday life.
Who had the best hummus?
Yeah.
Who looked the best in shorts?
The best skin?
Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah.
Right, Mitch?
We did what we could to give you the external. Now we're going to go internal.
Internal. Real locker room talk. This is a win for all of us.
Yes.
Okay? A win for all of us.
So, Russia is in Group A. They have in their group Russia, Uruguay, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. Dimitri, which 2 teams are going to come out of Division A?
I got Uruguay and Russia, in my opinion. And I'll tell you, I like Uruguay finishing first in this one.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I do.
No. We're going to have a little fight when we put our finals together. But I do agree with Russia and Uruguay. I'm with you on this one.
Okay.
And I'm picking Russia to go very far. In fact, I've said it a few times, jokingly, not jokingly. Maybe because I watched a propaganda video on Putin the other night, and I'm super pumped. And Russia's going to win everything. I'm convinced that Putin's going to come off the bench and score the winning goal in the finals.
He's already scored 5 in a hockey game. What? Yeah. He can't kick a ball in a big net?
Oh, he can kick
He's used to scoring goals in a smaller net.
In fact, he's going to kick it from the other side of the field, and it'll go straight in the corner.
That's amazing.
And he's going to bicycle kick it.
He would just be Putin it in.
Oh, my God. In Group B, we have Portugal, Spain, Iran, and Morocco.
You know, that's really nice that they invited their personal chefs. You know, the Portuguese brought the Moroccans and the Spanish brought who else was in there?
Spain, Iran, Morocco.
Oh, and the Iranians. That's really good that those 2 teams would bring their personal chefs to watch them win out of the group. I got Spain, Portugal going through. Mitch, for me, I actually see the Spanish finishing on top of the group. Number 2, Portugal.
Yeah, those ones to me are no-brainers. I think that's as easy as it's going to be. I do agree with that. Unfortunately, Iran and Morocco just literally got drawn into the worst division.
Yeah,
Like, they're going to get annihilated.
It's
these
a
guys.
tough sell. I
That's a
mean,
tough sell.
you know, the problem with a lot of these teams, you say they got drawn in a bad division. If you have a Spain or a Portugal, that's fine. You consider that a loss. You know, if you go a win, a loss, and a tie in the group stage here, you got a really good chance. Those 4 points here, they're going to each lose 2 games, and the real soccer for a group like this is between themselves.
Exactly.
Who wins the Iran-Morocco game?
In Group C, we got France, Peru, Denmark, Australia.
I got France and Denmark going through. France on top of the group.
Yeah, I mean, again, looking at Peru and Australia, as much as I want to see Australia go to the next round, they're no match for France. France, again, I think is a team that's going to make a lot of noise.
To me, I have them. That's my pre-favorite to win the World Cup.
Really?
That's my personal pick.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in
I like.
group,
I'm saying it here, just if it works. I like France versus Brazil. I like that rematch there.
You like that? Okay. In Group D, this one could be one of the toughest divisions. Argentina, Croatia, Iceland, Nigeria.
This is a really, really tough one.
Well, I think Argentina is a no-brainer.
I think we got to put Argentina
you got
in there.
Messi kind of controlling that.
Well, what do we got here? We got Argentina, Croatia,
Iceland, Nigeria.
You know, Iceland did really well in the Euro Cup, and I think people are going to want to kind of ride that train.
Right.
I got to say, I like Croatia in this, and you know what? I'm going to go with a teeny weeny bit of an upset here.
Yeah.
And I might even say that Croatia finishes number 1 in the group with Argentina second.
Just because I want to win this, this pool that we're in, I'm gonna say Croatia as well, but it's in protest. Just I want.
Okay, we'll put that in protest.
I want Tom to remember that. In Group E, we have Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia, and this is where your marriage is
Pass.
on the line.
Okay,
see.
so we got Brazil. Look, Brazil, they're finishing on top of the group. And then who do we have? We have Serbia.
Serbia, Switzerland, Costa Rica.
God, this is really, really tough. My heart says Serbia. Obviously, I want to cheer for them and let them go through. It's Costa Rica, They're all tough teams to really play against. Switzerland's that.
I'm gonna go with Costa Rica.
Mitch, I'm leaning towards that too, and it'd be nice if I'm wrong for my family's sake. However, I like Costa Rica as well.
Whoa.
With my
Guess who's sleeping on the couch tonight?
Oh, that'll continue a 14-day trend.
Yeah, no. I just want to look into the crowd. I think the Costa Rican women, the people that make the pilgrimage there, will be fantastic. In Group F, we have Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea.
Germany, Mexico, Sweden, and South Korea. I was looking at this one here. Germany's going to finish on top of the group.
Yeah, the machine.
And, Sweden limped in. They beat Italy, which, just it breaks Jimmy and mine's heart.
Absolutely.
To not be able to cheer for Italy.
So they're out. I'm not letting you pick them. No.
Can we pick Italy?
No. Yeah, we're going to put Italy. Let's put it in.
Can we pick Italy? Italy miraculously comes in?
I'm putting Italy in. Congratulations, Italy.
All jokes aside, I like Mexico in this one here. Sweden, I don't think they... 4 years ago, sure, but not this year. I like Germany, Mexico.
I literally wrote Germany, Italy. You can say what you want. Italy's in.
That's right. Let's do it for Jimmy.
Yep, absolutely.
Italy's in, Jim.
It's it, buddy. It happened. Group G, Belgium, England, Tunisia, Panama. I feel like I'm doing what's it called?
The Miss America.
Miss America.
Or like Miss World.
Miss World.
Universe, that's it.
And I just feel like I'm saying their name because that's how there's so many of them. They have to write
Panama.
Okay, so again, Group G. Where are we?
Did you hear they're taking the swimsuit competition?
I heard, guess what? I heard ratings went down as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Say bye to the male viewers, you idiot. What's next? Victoria's Secret with robes only? Good job.
Belgium, England, Tunisia, Panama.
I like Belgium and England, and I actually like Belgium on top of the group, England finishing second.
Yeah, I exactly the same thing. In Group H, the final group, we have Poland, Colombia, Senegal, Japan.
This is a really, really interesting one, and I'm actually gonna go with Poland
Yeah.
and Senegal advancing, with Poland number 1.
You like Poland
I
and
do,
Senegal?
yeah.
Oh, I like Poland. I'll give you Poland.
Because you're
Hold on.
debating with Colombia,
Yeah,
right?
I like the Colombia.
The Senegal-Colombia thing, that's where I have a toss-up. So the way I looked at it, Mitch, is so Poland is probably going to win 2 games. Okay, I got them beating beating Colombia.
Yeah.
I have them beating also, who's last in the group, say it for me? Japan. And possibly tying Senegal.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna go with Senegal as well. I think that, when you talk about a country like this, I don't want to sound horrible, but this is huge for them. This is bigger than bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is big, and I think that they're gonna show up and they're gonna do some damage. But watch out for Japan. And I say that because over the last few years, I've seen them make good runs.
They care about their soccer.
They do.
They really do.
It's
So
a
the
country that I
program
think is getting better and better at.
I just
I'm not saying
it's
this
funny.
could be the toughest division.
It is the toughest group, Mitch, and you took the words out of my mouth. What's funny, whenever we think of the group of death, it's always historically been, okay, you got Germany, Italy, Sweden, and Argentina, call it, right? Like, you'd have these massive mix of European, South American powerhouses. This one is the group that intrigues me the most because any two of these 4 teams can advance.
Yeah.
We could be totally wrong and have a Japan-Colombia go through.
So if earlier you said if you kind of picked the finals and if it worked out that way, you're saying France versus
For me,
Brazil.
France versus Brazil. If I had to pick my favorite, I would just replace Brazil with Argentina. I'd like to see Messi win the World Cup, but year after year, this defense has just done nothing but disappoint the Argentinians.
I'm going to go with Russia versus Germany, a rematch of World War II.
Okay.
And I think Russia wins again.
Well, come on.
Yeah. Again, with Putin winning the scoring goal.
If Russia actually pulls it off,
Yeah.
it's one of the few times that I could care less if the fix was in, because it's almost like the fix is expected.
Yeah, buddy, remember, this is in Russia. We know their Olympic curlers are PDing.
Curlers.
The curlers. So I'm going to take a wild guess that the soccer guys might be, on a little
Why
something.
bought a sliding more than other guy?
Exactly. So I'm just going to go with kind of like, what's kind of been set.
You know what
in stone already.
the NHL showed me? What a great league this is. Sorry to backtrack to it.
okay.
It just showed that Vegas cannot put the fix in on their own team.
Yeah.
That's how great the NHL.
Batman.
It makes.
Exactly.
He's the Batman.
And one last thing I want to just say, Vegas fans new to the league, kind of going back as you said, booing Bettman when he comes out to give the cup out. Good for you guys. That, again, traditional thing, right?
Yeah, the tradition.
They're saying, hey, we're not exactly sure what to do, but they knew to boo. Good for them.
And did you see him? He was waving it in.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
loved it.
Well, they didn't at first, and he's looking. He's like, it's your cue. Boo! There we go.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was good. All right, so we got a couple of more minutes here, and you know what? Like we said, this podcast goes out to Jimmy, so we're going to talk a couple of miscellaneous things right now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about one sport, our favorite sport, NFL. For those that didn't know or know, Jimmy was, like, when I say a fan, I think I'm underutilizing it. He was an ultra fan. It's not America's team. It was Jimmy's team. The Dallas Cowboys is what literally, to me, put Jimmy on the map. There was a time, I'll give you a quick story. He came to the family bar to watch Packers and Dallas, and it was a couple years ago. He walked in, put his jersey on, and I didn't expect him to come. I guess my brother might have invited him. I had no idea. Me and him ended up watching the game together, side by side, the whole time. And Packers ended up winning that game. But it was a last-minute win, and was
that the field goal?
It was the field goal one. Yes, it was.
With,
and I
Bennett
was
on the side.
just giving him the gears. As a gentleman that he was, which I was actually kind of surprised, not because he's not a gentleman. He literally just got up, put his drink down, stood up, and walked out the front door. Didn't say bye, didn't say nothing. Just got up. He was so furious.
Oh, man.
Not at me.
I remember.
Well, probably at me too.
So it's funny because I was at my cousin's bar watching that game,
Yeah.
and of course we're messaging back and forth, and you know, at the very end of it, he just goes, "Good game. Now let it go. We're not talking about it
was
anymore."
amazing.
I go, "Don't worry, we're done. We're done." Because Jimmy was a troll.
Oh, yeah,
Jimmy,
sure.
if he needed, you know what I love? One of his, and someone brought it up in the locker room as well. One of his last posts was Julian Edelman, and he just said, "Cheater."
Yeah. But he's right in your face. He never held back that guy. He just let it happen.
No, the guy, courage. What courage?
Very, very much so. He didn't care what people thought. Or maybe he never thought of it. I don't know.
So, Jimmy, I got a confession to finally make. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
I'm a Packers fan. You're a Cowboys fan. And we've been arguing about this for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it.
No.
Fine. It was a catch. Okay? That's it. Now
for
let
sure,
it go.
It for sure was.
Let it go.
It for sure was. It for sure was. Well, let's talk quickly about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about them and only them right now. Obviously, they're in the same division as the reigning champions, the world beaters, the Philadelphia Eagles. Does Dallas make a run this year? Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to be a wild card? Where do you expect them in 2018?
Yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. I actually thought they were going to make the playoffs last year as well. I thought they were going to sneak in. They have the right foundation for a team, and I just think what happened last year, they were distracted. I mean, everything that was going on with Ezekiel Elliott, they were absolutely distracted. That didn't just affect Elliott, it affected the whole team. The one thing that I really like that's happening is Des Bryant's leaving. And I know he's a great receiver. I know he's going to do well on any team that he goes to. The guy can catch the ball. The problem is a quarterback like Dak Prescott and Des Bryant just do not click. This is not a good marriage. Prescott, it was not Romo. You know, Romo could throw the ball. Romo liked to go down deep, take those. You know, Romo actually kind of reminded me of a Brett Favre type quarterback.
Sure, absolutely.
But you know, Prescott and the scheme that they're running is just not built for someone. So, what happened when Dallas was being very successful? I know they lost to the Packers a couple years ago in that playoff game, but it was short, manageable, smart passes coupled with an excellent run. I think they're going to get back to that. I think they're going to get back to fundamental football. And I think, I haven't looked at their entire schedule, but I really see them finishing second. I mean, they'll get into a wild card spot, in my opinion, easily.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I think they're going to make the wild card. I think Philadelphia, they didn't stop. When they won, they revamped their team right away. And
they won't stop.
Yeah, they won't stop. Philly's looking good right now.
I have a hard time seeing Philly lose more than 3 games this year, Mitch.
But the X factor in this case is not Dez. Dez is gone, whatever. And if he was as good a receiver as you think he is, he would have been picked up by somebody by now. Was he good during the earlier years? Sure. That in NFL, not for long. It stands for that, I believe. And so the reality is Des Bryant's gone now. And I think that'll allow them to focus on what they do. I want to see their defense get a little bit better, and I think it will get better. So I'm going to go with Dallas as a wild card as well. And the big X factor is Ezekiel Elliott. He will be here for the full year. Their offensive line's intact. They're ready to rock and roll, so they're looking good. The other sport we wanted to quickly touch upon is in baseball. Huge fan. Jimmy loved his Yankees.
Loved the Yankees. Oh, my goodness.
So I could see why he probably loves right now that they're leading their division. They're only up by a game, though, on the Boston Red Sox. Boston's hot on their tail, and it's going to come down. So I'm just going to say this. Obviously, I like my baseball. I'm not sure how much you like it, but the reality is Stanton's starting to catch a little steam, and Judge is as well. But the big guy is their pitching. When you got a guy closing out game like Chapman, and this guy's throwing heat, man. This guy's that crazy dude. He's like Wild Thing. He's throwing 100 and he doesn't know where it's going to land. No one knows. No one knows where it's going to land. So he's no Rivera. No one is, but he's the new equivalence of it. And their Luis Cerveno, their other stud pitcher. As long as those guys stay healthy and those guys are hitting the ball, Yankees will win the division.
Well, it's simple, right? You got great pitching coupled with great hitting. I mean, I know that's okay. Thanks, Captain. Obvious statement, but it's true. The stars have become the stars. I mean, Stan's on the highlight reel week to week to week, and Judge as well.
Absolutely.
And it's funny you mentioned Boston because Boston's been playing so well, and it's not as talked about as everything else that's going on. And it also could be because we're in Canada, so obviously we're going to hear a lot of Blue Jays. That's in our face. I like the Yankees. Actually, from what I remember last year, and them falling short last year, I think that they are. I think they're going to do better. I think that this is a bit more of a seasoned team. I really like what they're doing. I would say I'd pick the Yankees to win the World Series, and that would be such an amazing tribute to
awesome.
Jim as well. The guy was he was a huge Derek Jeter fan.
Oh, he loved the Jeter.
He loved Derek Jeter. I remember, and for me, because I'm not big on baseball, that's the one point where we actually got along when it came to sports, because I love Derek Jeter as well. I just love everything that he represented.
Well, that's awesome.
Right, so.
Well, you know what? I got to be honest. There's still like 80 plus games left in the season. We'll wait and see. But it is literally going to be a New York-Boston. I checked out the stats the other day. Toronto's in third, and they're 14 games back. So it literally is a Boston-New York series already. It's already a playoff between them two. Not even heading into July yet. So, unless one of them takes a skid, it's going to be them going back and forth until the end of the season. So we're going to cheer for RLRT. We're cheering Yankees for our boy.
We're cheering Yankees.
Done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end. But this time around, I said to myself, Dimitri, what are we going to do? We're going to do Maga or Malaka, but we usually come up with different topics over the last couple of weeks, if you've noticed. And today I decided, you know what? Let's do things that Jimmy would have probably called Maga or Malaka. We think we know him pretty good. You know him definitely a lot better. So I'm going to ask you, since you know him a lot better, you tell me, I'll definitely jump in.
Now, as we discussed, our segment is Maga versus Malaka.
Right.
But everyone listening knows Jimmy used one of two words, one that started with an F,
right,
and one that started with a C.
Exactly.
So just for the sake of following along,
right,
when I give my answer, you can just fill in the appropriate blank.
Appropriate, exactly. So here we go. Maga or Malaka, throwing flower plates at singers' heads during Greek concerts. Maga or Malaka move?
That's a Jimmy Maga move.
Very much a Maga.
Jimmy would say Maga.
One of my favorite things about Jimmy, I have to admit, was, how about this one? Maga or Malaka, selfies.
Oh, yeah. Maga. Yeah, definitely Maga.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, Malaka.
Yeah, he hated the
Jimmy
Penguins.
Jimmy would go Malaka. You know what's really funny?
Yeah.
When it came to sports, there's only one team we ever agreed on. Actually, two. Olympiacos in soccer.
Yeah.
Greek team.
Maga.
Okay. Maga. I remember one year we're watching the Champions League and we're watching Deportivo La Coruña. We're like, oh, this team's awesome. Because they beat Real Madrid. We're like, yeah, we're cheering for these people. Well, then they started to suck, and they never made a Champions League, and not even in the La Liga. So finally, Jimmy and I looked at each other. We're like, so are we Barcelona guys now? Absolutely. we had to make the switch. We had to make the switch.
Well, good.
But outside of that, you had Blackhawks. I was Penguins. He's Cowboys. I'm Packers. The list goes on.
Let's go back to an easy one. Manchester U.
Oh, Maga.
He loves his Maga.
And I was an Arsenal fan. He's a Man U guy.
Oh, Maga. So Manchester City would be what then?
Oh, Malaka.
He hated Manchester City.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
What about Heineken's on the Greek beach?
Full Maga.
Full Maga.
Yeah, full Maga.
Amazing. Social media trolling.
I mean, the absolute Maga of all Maga things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
He was such a good troll. When you were on the sideline, even if you weren't part of the conversation, you waited for him to just respond to someone. It's the funniest thing.
I love it. Cowboy cheerleaders? Maga. He never really talked about them. He would literally just talk about the team. You never heard him kind of straying off and talking about the cheerleaders.
You know
or
what?
anything,
Maybe they were a distraction.
Yeah,
Let's go Malaka.
Yeah, Malaka. I think you would call him Malaka. They're taken away from the team. Frappe.
Maga.
Beautiful. Only a couple more. Darren Detition. He's a full malaka. If
know
that guy
what?
called our friend a malaka, he's a malaka. He's a malaka,
yeah.
100%.
And this is from Jimmy. Screw you, malaka.
Yeah, exactly. Here's two more, and we're gonna roll out. What did Jimmy think about his friends?
Oh, malakis.
Malakas.
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, on the average, absolutely.
Absolutely. And when it came to his beautiful family,
Oh, maga.
Yeah.
No question, maga. Absolutely. Oh, that was really good, Mitch. I like that.
you know what, guys? That's the end of the podcast 36. Again, this one was out to you, Jimmy. We love you so much, buddy.
Yeah, this was it was an honor just to do this episode. I mean, the memory of Jimmy is never going to die because he's always going to be with us. Talk about the short time that he was here provided more memories than a full life, more than we could dream of. We're going to miss you lots, Jimmy. You know I love you. It's really hard to come up with the words. So I just hope that people that are listening to Mitch and I, we have more to say and emotions that we can't show, to express our love for Jimmy. And, there does come a point when a couple guys are talking on a podcast where we have a lot of words to say. But here we find with not a lot to say, because it is tough to talk about. But this was an honor. Everything was an honor. And, yeah, this is probably my favorite. Not probably. This is my favorite episode. Actually, we should do a Jimmy episode every so often.
That's it.
Yeah, or like a Jimmy trolling segment.
Well, I think we're going to see you sooner than later, buddy. Be well and take care of yourself, and we'll take care of the things down here for you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And to all the Greeks, zois samas. And
We love you, buddy.
now we got to hit the showers.
Let's roll.
Right.